They are essentially intel agents that are put before the camera to spew out psychological operations, black ops. Now that sounds tinfoil hat shit, I know, right? That they recruit journalism students, they recruit journalists to come into security agencies like CSIS, like the CIA, like Mossad, like MI5, MI6. Come join me today. We got to discuss the Alberta Independence Movement and how the Liberals, along with fake Indigenous people, propped up crooked chiefs, derailed it in the court system. I'm sure if you're from Alberta, you know exactly what's going on. And I called it in many videos exactly how it went down. They use the natives, they use a Liberal appointed judge to kibosh the independence movement, for now anyways. And I go on a bit of a house hunting excursion, and I show you where I'm going to be living, and I'm going to show you where Chief on the Take will be living. Stick around, this one gets a little heated. Just out checking out my my future home for when we are all displaced from our traditional Western style homes into Indigenous internment camp style homes. Now these are poles for a teepee, traditional native housing, native lodging, traditional native housing for thousands of years. So as you can see, this is a complete, well, not a complete native community, but they have traditional housing, traditional sweat lodges, traditional gardens going to be set up. And this is going to be the way of life for people like us moving forward. Now, the First Nations people will be living in our homes that we currently reside in. They will be taking those over based on what the Liberal government wants to do. Now I'm going to continue on down the path. Now, Chief Alan Adam, the chief that the Liberals have chosen to be the face of theft, I heard he was in Toronto this past weekend at some sort of pipeline or anti-pipeline seminar where the all virtue signaling almighty Neil Young was in attendance. And so they flew Chief Alan Adam. From this point on, we will call him Chief on the Take, or if you want to make it more authentic, Chief on the Took. And I can't confirm these reports, but I heard that he was house hunting on this particular street, and this particular street is called North Drive, and it is a very exclusive enclave in West Toronto or Etobicoke that borders on Ford Nation, which is Rob Ford's namesake, and it's very close to where Premier Doug Ford lives. Now, Doug Ford's house aren't as nice as these, but I'm going to show you the exact house that Chief on the Take was reportedly looking at, and it's under construction. It's right up here. Now, I know this house to my left right here, the one that's for sale, the last time I checked, it was around $16 million. Now, Chief on the Take, the fake Indigenous chief that, like I said, the Liberals made the face of their Indigenous theft enterprise, was apparently shopping or making an offer on this house here. Now, this house here, I've been told that it could be as high as $30 million. So Chief on the Take obviously has a lot of money for doing the bidding of the Liberal government and for bearing false witness. Now, I'm gonna go up here a little further, and I'm gonna go into a lot greater detail with regards to Chief on the Take and the Alberta Independence Movement, because things are gonna get interesting now. Okay, so I called it for quite some time, and I called it out in quite a few of my videos, whereas the Alberta Independence Movement was going to be derailed through the use of corrupt Native Indigenous chiefs, and it was going to be triggered by that, by a Native injunction, and it was going to be put before a Liberal appointed judge. And you can go back in my videos. I said it in at least 10 of my videos that this was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. It was an injunction was put forward, a legal challenge was put forward by Chief on the Take, and under the premise that the Alberta Independence Movement didn't consult with band leaders, Native chiefs, Indigenous chiefs, fake chiefs, chiefs on the take, corrupt chiefs, criminal enterprising chiefs, however you want to. Oh, got a couple dogs in the bush behind me here. Of course, you can't sit down for more than 2 seconds in Toronto anywhere, and no, someone's going to pop out of the weeds, so to speak. So, and I'm not relishing in the fact that I was right. I'm for the Alberta Independence Movement. I made that clear in my videos, multiple videos, and I've gained a lot of support from the people in Alberta on my channel, and I thank you for that. And I'm still in support of the Alberta Independence Movement, but I knew this was going to happen. Now, my understanding, there's being documentation drafted as I speak to challenge the court's decision to quash the separatist movement petition that's over the 300,000 plus signatures. Now, the judge that quashed it, I'm not sure if it's a male or female. I haven't dug too much into that. But from what I'm to understand, it was a Justin Trudeau Liberal appointed judge, of course. That's why they do that. They put Liberals in place in conservative areas for just this reason. Whenever there is a conservative common sense pushback of the insane liberalism ideologies, they quash it through legal channels that they've installed, and they're completely illegal. The system is completely rigged against any sort of common sense momentum, and this is, obviously this is going to be a very clear message sent with regards to that in Alberta. Now, over the course of the videos that I focused on Alberta independence, I've had hundreds of comments, and and I've said in many of my videos that the people that are part of the Alberta Independence Movement are very passionate people, and they can become so passionate that they borderline on anger, they borderline on for lack of a better word, they used a lot of incendiary comments on my channel, and I understand, and trust me, I understand the frustration. But a lot of people in the comment section, and I'm talking a lot of people, they were saying that if indeed that the the independence movement was shot down through Indigenous or through, and sorry to use that word shot, I didn't mean shot, that it was derailed, or it was not validated through the courts, that people in Alberta would be very upset, to the point of civil unrest, to the point of getting very angry with the federal government. Now, I knew this was going to happen, and I don't want to keep on saying that, but I'm sure many people in Alberta knew it was going to happen too. So there must be contingency plans put in place, and I'm talking from a legal precedent. I'm assuming it's safe to say that Jeff Rath has a contingency plan for this. So I'm sure he has a legal team. I'm to understand, I think he's a lawyer as well, but I'm sure he has a legal team that is already putting together a legal challenge. But in the meantime, this Indigenous chief, Chief on the Take, he's well known to people in Alberta. He's well known to the RCMP, and he's well known to be someone that has been on the Liberal payroll for many years, and he's well known to have taken bribe money through companies or through NGOs in the United States. This guy is the perfect patsy. He is out, you're going to see the video. Let me back this up a little bit. David from Moose on the Loose, and I always use him because, like I said, he's the best. David doesn't need my endorsement by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously he's the go-to guy. And he put together a long laundry list of Chief on the Takes bribes, Chief on the Takes financial remuneration for bearing false witness and for putting forth this legal challenge. This guy's IQ is that of a bowling ball. his IQ would be less than a German Shepherd, in my opinion, and way less than a Belgian Malinois. So they picked another perfect patsy, not so dissimilar to Lori Idilut that they made cross the floor by dangling shiny beads and maybe some wiki and whatever they do to bring people into line for the Liberals. And obviously it's money, it's bribery, it's coercion, it's blackmail, all the usual organized crime tactics that the Liberal Party employs. So he went on an interview with David Cockburn, or David Cockburn, David Cochran, I think his name is, that Liberal dandy that is an intelligence asset that works out of the CBC. And the CBC employs a lot of intelligence assets that are crisis actors that are put in front of the camera and put in front of the indoctrinated Liberals that suck that Kool-Aid up to spew out the Liberal talking points. But basically, they are failed actors. They are failed. Well, I shouldn't say they're failed intelligence agents, because they are very successful intelligence agents. They make very, very good money, and they are no different than what CSIS would employ. They are no different than what the RCMP would employ, with the exception they are put in front of a camera and they are given a script hourly, daily, weekly to read, and it's verbatim. Sure, they have to ad-lib, they have to go off script a little bit, but they are all on the same page, and that page is to do as the Liberals tell them to do. And anyhow, so they had Chief on the take doing I don't know, a Skype interview from wherever he lives, and I think he lives in Alberta, I'm not sure. And this guy, like I said, he's from Central Casting. He has that Indigenous voice, he has that Indigenous look, and he, like I said, he is not very smart. And I'm not disparaging all Indigenous people, saying they're not smart people. There are a lot of intelligent Indigenous people. I have Indigenous friends in the Toronto area, and you know, they're very nice people. So I'm not disparaging all Indigenous people. I am disparaging the people that are in charge of these bands and tribes. I'm disparaging a lot of them because a high percentage of them are crooked, and they're no different than the leaders of organized crime. And this guy is no different, Alan Adam. I don't know why he doesn't have a traditional Indigenous name, but he didn't get around to that yet. So David from Moose on the Loose points out all the remuneration that he has received. He makes, through as band chief or band council, whatever the fuck he is, whatever title he's given himself or the Liberals have allowed him to have, he makes $264,000 a year, and plus. Like I said, he was just in Toronto hobnobbing with that other Liberal hippie, Neil Young, and he was doing some house hunting. As I was doing some house hunting earlier for the house I'll be living in comparison to the house Chief on the Take will be living in, because the Liberals are giving him carte blanche to live where he wants, and will he have to reach into his sack of money and actually pay for a house, or are the Liberals going to annex that land? Are they going to take the land rights back from whoever lives in these nice houses and give it to Indigenous people? Now, I am going to attach, like I normally do, I will attach David's video at the end of mine in a thumbnail, and I'll also put it in the description. I don't know what's easier for my viewers, whether it be easier to click the thumbnail at the end of my video if you have to bear through my whole video, or maybe you just go to the description and click on it there. I'll put it in both anyways. I'll start doing that, I think. That way you don't have to watch my whole video. I'm not here begging for views, and I'm not here trying to make money, like I said before. I'm just here trying to put a regular guy's spin on what's going on. And what's going on is the Liberal government over the course of decades has insulated themselves with many ground level, or what they would say grassroots organizations, and that's a bunch of bullshit. They have strategically placed throughout the judicial system people that are going to do the bidding on behalf of the Liberal government. They have weaponized and indoctrinated all the perceived marginalized groups in Canada, including the Indigenous, including the LGBTQ movement, including the Black community, including the Indian community, and I mean South Asian community. We have people in our country from 168 countries around the world, 450 different ethnic backgrounds. So they have essentially weaponized every perceived marginalized community they could possibly weaponize, and ones that we don't even know of yet. Like David outlined on his video last night or this morning, I don't know, probably last night he did it, right? He has to put a lot more editing into his videos than I do mine. And he outlined people that look like us, he's a white guy, that we are the lowest form of Earth on this planet, or in this country. And when you see, well, you're going to already see the video of me going through North Drive. You're going to see all those nice houses in there, those mansions in those estate homes, and you're going to see all the infrastructure. You're going to see all the technology, or you're aware of all the technology that we currently enjoy in technologically advanced societies like Canada is. This wasn't made. This wasn't all these things that we have in life that make things easy for us wasn't made by Indigenous people from this country. Native people, Native Canadian people. It was not made. Sure, they have their hand in a lot of construction projects throughout Canada and throughout North America. Sure, they did. They are instrumental in skyscraper building because they have, or they lack the fear of heights. They are good working people, a lot of Indigenous people. So they do have their hand in skyscrapers. But as I pointed out earlier in this video, before the white man that was from Europe, which my ancestry is, they were living in teepees. Literally living in teepees. They had no concrete buildings. They didn't know how to make concrete. They didn't know how to make gunpowder. I'm not saying making gunpowder was a good idea. They didn't know how to do a lot of things. Centuries and centuries of progression throughout the Romans, throughout the Europeans, they learned that over there. Then they brought it over here. When Somali people came here in the early 90s, 1993, they didn't build one fucking house here. That was European settlers that built all the houses in my neighborhood, turn of the century. Okay, so sure, they have their hands in construction projects now. I understand that. But they built fuck all for the first 100 years in this country, or 80 years in this country. Indigenous people, okay, yes, they had their hand in, to reiterate that. But I don't want Indigenous people running or leading my life or governing me, because I don't trust their thought process. I'm going to say it. I don't trust their thought process. I would trust their thought process as much, or sorry, let me back this up. I'm going to be honest with you. I would trust their thought process before I trust any liberal's thought process. But having said that, we can't have any one marginalized group solely dictating the way other people live their lives, because a lot of their ideologies and a lot of their thought process is wrong. It's flawed. It's very, very wrong. It's very, very detrimental to the way a society should function. So when you have a government like Mark Carney's Liberals and Justin Trudeau's Liberals that want to take away rights and freedoms, they want to take away these from law-abiding citizens, they want to stop cameras in committee so the general public can't see what's being discussed or what's being put against the Liberal policy. They want to shut the cameras off. They want to restrict speech through laws. They want to have state-run media. They want to have the CBCs. They want to have the CTVs. And to reiterate, the Vashi Capellos, the Rosemary Bartons, the David Cochrans of the state-run media are crisis actors. They are essentially intel agents that are put before the camera to spew out psychological operations, black ops. Now that sounds tinfoil hat shit, I know, right? Well, no, it's, listen, I know personally that intelligence agencies and, you know, and not even me personally, a lot of people know this, that they recruit journalism students, they recruit journalists to come into security agencies like CSIS, like the CIA, like Mossad, like MI5, MI6, okay, and whatever other intelligence agencies throughout the world. They want people that are intelligent. They want people that are good in front of the camera. They want people that can speak. That way it makes it more valid when they put out something that is completely unbelievable. Like this guy, he's, you know, look at me. I speak like a fourth grader. So, you know, there's no way that I'm going to be approached by any one of those organizations to work for them. I'm going to be approached by those organizations to be quiet, to be shut down. That's how they're going to approach me. So The difference being is when you put a lot of money in front of someone that has no possible expectation to make that kind of money in any other field, they are going to do as they're told. And this guy, Chief on the Take, once you watch this video and you get acquainted with this individual, you're going to understand this guy will do anything for a pack of Tic Tacs. This guy will do anything. He's like a bull's dick. He's going to go where he's shoved. And that's exactly what they source out. They pick these people out that will do like a Manchurian candidate. They are completely indoctrinated. They are completely in the mindset that the white man has wronged them. And then they put a dump truck full of money in front of them. It's like a Gordie Howe hat trick. You're not going to say no to this. It's a trifecta. So now the ball is in Alberta's court with the independence movement there, and it's over 300,000 signatures. But it's a lot more people that are behind that movement that didn't sign up. Now, you know, there's other channels that have made a reference to what has happened recently with the court injunction. But there's people showing video of the Albertans lining up in -30 weather and you know, snowbanks up to their shoulders out there for hours waiting to sign these petitions. So I would have to say these people are going to be quite upset and quite angry with the latest ruling from the Trudeau appointed judge. Now, I'm sure the people might know who this judge is out there. I don't. I'm sure that's going to come to the forefront, and you're going to see how corrupt and how liberal base she is, or he is. I'm assuming. I just naturally gravitated towards a woman, but it's either going to be a woman or it's going to be a beta feminized male, because that's the liberal MO. And I get a lot of people on my channel, you know, not a lot, but the odd liberal that when I talk like this, it triggers them, and I get a kick out of that because you know, they just come on my channel and say, oh, you're stupid, and you know, do you do research? Well, the research I fucking do it's common sense reality. That's the research. You don't have to be a genius to figure out how the liberals are pulling this off. It's the state-run media. It's giving bribe money. It's getting dirt on people, blackmailing people. It's making people destitute and so disparaged that they are at the point of giving up. Hence the MAID program and how successful that is. So when you see no light at the end of the tunnel and the Liberal government is the only light at that end of the tunnel, of course, they're going to need a lot of takers. And that's where we are today. So anyhow, I also wanted to touch on the Frances Widdowson fake video that she was conned into doing, but I don't think I'm going to do that in this video. I'll do it in a separate video. But more is coming out with regards to Frances Widdowson and the way the CBC and the Aboriginal Peoples Television Network conned her in, and it's very underhanded, very dirty the way they are playing over the 215 kids in Kamloops that the Liberal government paid off a bunch of liberal radicals to say they were buried there. And you know, that is you know, I don't care if they come after me. I don't care if you know, they're threatening to sue me or whatever. Basically, it's common knowledge that's a scam. Now they got it all cordoned off there. So you can't see in. Are they planting evidence there? Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if they did. If they dug up some other Indigenous grave somewhere else, and you know, it's not nice to say, but just dump the bones in a shallow grave and say, oh, there's your proof. Now we're going to go after all the people that were labeled deniers. Denialism is another liberal talking word. Fucking denialism. No, the residential schools existed. People were abused in residential schools. People were abused in every fucking school. My mother was abused in school. She was hit with sticks and straps. Her ears were pulled, okay? I did a video on the Lakeshore Mental Health Facility where there's 1,511 people buried in unmarked graves. You don't think they were abused? And they're not Indigenous. So fuck off with your fucking, only Indigenous people were abused. Everyone was a fucking abused. Anyhow, sorry, I went off on a bit of a rage there. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, put it in the comment section, and I will get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye.